I recognize myself. Again, livestock producers need urgent relief from costly and dangerous black vulture attacks. This amendment simply delays that critical relief. HR 2462 provides livestock producers with the ability to take vultures where and when it makes sense. Now, in regards to the existing permit program that allows a farmer or rancher to take 10 black vultures per year, that is simply not enough. So I think a lot of these farmers are not even bothering with getting the permits, especially when large flocks of 40 to 50 birds regularly descend on a helpless calf. The simple math shows us that having a yearly maximum take of 10 is not enough. It's more common sense to allow the farmers to protect their livestock. The legislation requires that they report their take at the end of the year. This is something that can be monitored and that can give farmers relief, and also will help us to manage this massive population of black vultures that are doing considerable damage to livestock across the country. I urge my colleagues to oppose the amendment, and I yield back. Is there further discussion on the amendment? If there's no further discussion on the amendment, the question is on the amendment offered by Ranking Member Huffman, designated Huffman number 1. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. No. In opinion of the chair, the noes have it. A recorded vote has been requested. Further proceedings on the amendment will be postponed. Pursuant to the markup notice, it is now in order to consider H.R. 556, Protecting Access for Hunters and Anglers Act of 2025. Without objection, the bill will be considered as read and open to amendment at any point. Does any member wish to be recognized for purpose of debate on the bill? I recognize myself for 5 minutes. H.R. 556, sponsored by my colleague, Congressman Whitman of Virginia, is a common sense bill that protects the ability of hunters and anglers to continue to use cost-effective lead ammunition and fishing equipment on our nation's public lands. At the same time, this legislation gives federal and land management agencies the flexibility to make targeted prohibitions on lead usage based on sound science and in coordination with state fish and wildlife agencies. In the United States, sportsmen and women's participation is crucial to the success of wildlife conservation. The North American model of wildlife conservation is based on 7 interconnected principles. These include sound science, active management, and access to hunting and fishing. This model is a success story demonstrated by the millions of dollars paid by hunters and anglers for wildlife conservation each year through fees and excise taxes on hunting and fishing gear and related purchases. In fiscal year 2025, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service allocated nearly $1 billion in receipts from excise taxes on firearms manufacturers. Of that amount, $750 million was designated for wildlife restoration. Similarly, $416 million for fish conservation was generated from excise taxes on fishing equipment. In 2023, after significant pushback from stakeholders and members of Congress, the service denied a petition from environmental groups to ban the use of lead ammunition and tackle throughout the refuge system. You notice I didn't say radical environmental groups, Mr. Huffman.
Great restraint.
They were far left environmental groups, but not radical. Maybe a little radical. However, under the Biden administration, the service still pressed ahead with banning the use of lead ammunition and tackle in 8 refuges. The question facing the committee today is about access. Simply put, banning lead ammunition and tackle limits access for sportsmen and women. In 2021, the National Shooting Sports Foundation concluded that lead-free hunting ammunition is on average about 25% more expensive than similar lead products. The result of a lead ban would be a decrease in hunting and fishing participation and a reduction in wildlife conservation and restoration funding. Instead of regulating hunters and anglers off our federal lands, the federal government should be working with state managers, conservation organizations, and sportsmen and women. Where lead is conclusively shown to harm wildlife, it should be addressed accordingly, but any far-reaching ban or refuge by refuge ban where no scientific link can be made is the wrong approach and ultimately undermines wildlife conservation. I urge my colleagues to support the bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.